My name is Gorr. I remember the heat, the endless sand, and the prayers that turned to dust in my throat. I was a devout man on a desolate world, a world our gods had long forgotten. My faith was all I had, especially as I held my little girl, Love, in my arms, her body racked by starvation and thirst. I prayed for her, begged for an oasis, for a sign, for mercy. The gods never answered. She died in my arms, and a part of me died with her. Wandering aimlessly into the desert to die, I stumbled upon that which I had prayed to, an oasis. And there he was, my god, Rapu, golden and laughing, celebrating a victory, completely indifferent to the suffering of his followers. My people, my daughter. When I confronted him, he mocked my pain, scoffed at my loss. He told me there was no reward after death, only nothingness. In that moment, the faith that had defined my life shattered into a million pieces, replaced by cold, searing rage. It was then that I found it. A dark, ancient blade lying beside a defeated foe. The necrosword. It spoke to me not in words, but in feelings. It promised me strength, a purpose. It promised me vengeance. I picked it up, and its darkness flowed into me. The first god to feel my wrath was my own. It was quick, and it was satisfying. My new purpose was born from my despair. All gods are selfish, unworthy of the devotion they demand. All gods must die. I became a whisper across the cosmos, a boogeyman for the divine. They call me the God Butcher. I hunted them in their golden halls and lush gardens, turning their paradises into graveyards. The sword gave me power over shadows, the ability to create monstrous creatures from the darkness. But it was a curse. With every god I killed, the sword's corruption seeped deeper into my veins, poisoning my body and soul. It was a price I was willing to pay to cleanse the universe of their arrogance. My path eventually led me to the most famous god of all, Thor Odinson. To lure him out, I attacked his people in their new home, New Asgard. I used the shadows to snatch their children, their most precious treasures, just as mine had been taken from me. I took them to my domain, the Shadow Realm, a colorless, lifeless place where my power was absolute and their gods' powers were useless. Thor came, as I knew he would. But he wasn't alone. He brought the king of New Asgard, a creature of rock, and a woman wielding his old hammer, Mjolnir. A new Thor. It was amusing. Our battle in the Shadow Realm was a thing of terrifying beauty. I was a phantom, striking from the darkness, a nightmare made real. I wounded the king and saw that the woman, Jane Foster, was frail, dying. The hammer was giving her strength, but it was also killing her. Another soul betrayed by a false promise of salvation. My true goal wasn't to kill Thor there. I needed his axe, Stormbreaker. It held the key to the Bifrost, the only way to reach the heart of all creation, a being called eternity. It was said that the first to reach it would be granted a single wish, any wish at all. My wish was simple, the eradication of all gods in single silent moment. Thor's love for the children was his weakness. He brought them into the fight, and in the chaos I seized Stormbreaker and opened the gate. I had won. As I stepped through the portal into the cosmic nexus of eternity, my wish was a scream in my soul, ready to be unleashed. But Thor followed me. He didn't raise his axe to fight. Instead, he went to the dying Jane. He chose to spend her last moments with her, to hold her, to love her. He told me, I'd rather die a human than live as a god. He looked at me, not as a monster, but as a father who had lost everything. He told me that what I truly wanted wasn't vengeance, but love. As I stood before the magnificent, silent form of eternity, I saw my daughter's face reflected in a cosmic glow. The whispers of the necrosword faded, silenced by the overwhelming memory of her. My rage, my pain, my long, bloody crusade, it all came from that one moment of loss. He was right. Vengeance wouldn't bring her back. It wouldn't fill the hole in my heart. The sword's curse was finally taking its toll. My body was turning to dust. I knew I was dying. With my final breath, I made my wish. Not for death, but for life. I wished for my daughter back. And eternity answered. Love appeared before me, whole and healthy, reborn from starlight. I held her one last time. As the darkness consumed me, I looked at Thor and entrusted him with my greatest treasure. I asked him to raise her, to protect her, to let her live a life filled with love, not hate. My name is Gorr. I was the God Butcher. But in my final moments, I was simply a father. And my legacy is not the countless gods I slew, but the one little girl I brought back to life. My legacy is love. So thanks for your time.
But what do you think? Was Gorr a true villain, or a father pushed beyond his breaking point? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Marvel's most tragic characters, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing for more stories from a different point of view.